but that doesn't mean that it's trendy. We weren't ahead of our time.
No.
Or maybe we just were really fucking progressive and we just didn't realize it all this time. You know what that means, Sean?
What's that?
Our rates have just tripled.
Whoa. Sorry, guys.
You're listening to The Angry Designer.
So Happy New Year, friend.
Hey, Happy New Year to you.
Happy
Yes.
2021.
Yes, 2021.
Wow, let's hope this year's just mildly better than last. Wow.
That was hideous, man.
Yeah, it was a tough year. I'm not going to lie, it was a tough year, but it was a good year. And with every new year, you always see these awesome, inspiring articles. You know, these articles about the new design trends for the year, you know, new brand design trends. Here's my favorite one. I saw one that said, brand design trends for 2021 that graphic designers need to know, right? There's so much wrong with that. I don't even, or 10 creative logo design brand trends for 2020. Yeah, creative logo design trends, right? Or my favorite, 7 creative branding trends for 2021. Like, I don't even know where to start with this and how ridiculous.
That's like an oxymoron, right?
Right.
Like jumbo shrimp or something like that.
Right.
This is,
you don't trend and a brand or trend and a logo. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yikes.
And the thing is, it's just like they're everywhere.
These are articles you find.
They're everywhere. They're all over the web. Like everything in my feed. And sadly, by companies that I kind of like getting their material from, but when you see shit like this come through, is just you realize, you know what? And I mean, no disrespect to anybody. I could care less if I disrespect anybody. The reality is, you know, this just proves that a lot of this crap is being written by amateur, early, junior designers.
Yes.
Because anybody with a half brain knows that, you know, logo and brand and the word trend, it just can't be in the same set. Like, absolutely, it's ridiculous. A logo should not be trendy. Like, there's nothing about it that should be trendy. And you know what else, for that matter? Logo shouldn't be cool. You shouldn't be like, hey, did you see that rad new logo? I forgot the company because every year it keeps changing on me to follow the trends. They're so trendy, but I can't remember what the hell their name is. Like, a logo's got a brand. Okay, so first off, for the sake of this conversation, we're going to be saying brand because a brand is all encompassing.
Yes.
But the trends that we're going to be talking about are ridiculous, whether it's definitely for a brand, for a logo, for a website. Like, it's ridiculous. But these are the articles that you see and you feel like, You almost second guess yourself, like, shit, you know, like, am I falling behind? Is my brand falling behind the times? And that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, no.
No, I know.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
that's absolutely insane. Your brand should transcend these trendy things.
Anything that's trendy,
what I mean?
right?
Yeah.
Like, again, like, your design, honestly, design should solve a problem, not try to be hip and trendy, because what you're doing is you're actually adding problems for a company's brand.
Yes.
And that's the disappointing part, is because they're looking to you, the designer, the marketer, the brand expert, for guidance.
Yep.
And then you see this crap, and for the few that absolutely have obviously got no understanding of the whole concept, they push that forward to their clients.
Yeah.
You know, I couldn't imagine going to clients and saying, you know what? I think your brand needs an update this year. You know, this year's trend is psychedelic backgrounds, so let's put that in the back of your logo. What the fuck? Oh, dude, that makes me angry, honestly.
That is going to
and it's just
present
proof
issues.
that, you know, like, there's crap out there. Like, honestly, people are writing crap for the sake of just putting content out there.
Yes.
Because I do think that this is the most ridiculous thing.
Yeah.
It's like saying, hey, smoke because it'll make you healthier. It is literally it's that idiotic to me.
Yeah,
it is
exactly.
literally that's it. Again, this isn't a trend-based business.
No.
You know, we're dealing
God,
with companies that are dropping millions of dollars in their product and staff. You know, they get billions of dollars in revenue. You know, they're everywhere. Their marketing teams are bigger than most ad agencies.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And they can't just jump on a trend, you know, because that's not what this business is about. And shame on the people who actually propose that they do.
Yes.
It's just, it's ridiculous, dude.
Like, I can't imagine any client, you know, that would say, yeah, you know what? I'm really, really cool with this. Let's just roll with what you guys are.
Right. Or what's even worse are the few clients that say, you know what? I don't know about this, but I trust
Yes.
you because you're
Yes.
the expert.
That's right.
That's the concern.
That's scary, isn't
Right, it is.
Yeah.
And again, if somebody's silly enough to actually jump on this and, a design, again, it's killing. Like, do you really want to chance your brand to just a passing trend?
No.
Like, it's stupid.
God.
You know what you should do to your logo to make it trendier, Sean?
Yeah, what's that? What's
Nothing.
that? Oh.
You do nothing to it to make it trendy, okay?
Yes.
Nothing. Don't even go near that.
That's right. Yeah, your
In
logo.
fact, what logo trends should you avoid? All of them. All. I honestly, I see graphical images. I see
Yes.
abstract. I had a blast looking through some of these, over the past week. And it's just like, are you serious? You're proposing that I'm going to make stained glass logo. There's a great trend, right? Let me make my logo really complicated and try to tell a whole story in this little iconic stained glass image. Like, dudes, come on. Oh, shame on you. Shame on you, honestly.
Yeah, that's really, really bad.
Like, when you create a logo, when you create your brand, when you create your icon that represents your company for years to come, right? There's some basic things that, we always follow, and I'm going to recommend always, right? Like, obviously, keep it minimal.
Yes.
Right? Like, don't get, there's no reason to like add and add and add to these logos, right? Keep it minimal because then it's going to work across so many more platforms.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Keep it simple.
Yep.
They sound the same, but they're not. Minimal is just, just keep just the bare minimum of items in your logo. Simple is the opposite of complex. Don't add shit for the sake of adding it. Don't try to tell too much of a story.
Don't make people think.
Don't make people think. Seriously. So it should be minimal. It should be simple. If you can make it iconic, that's amazing. So if people see it, recognize it, and remember it, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Relevant to your audience.
Yeah.
Right? Your logo should definitely be relevant. So don't make your mascot a chicken if your audience are vegans. Okay? Just, might not work over so well. And, most of all, and here's the key.
Yeah.
Make it timeless. Okay? Which goes against making something trendy.
That's right.
Right?
Exactly.
Like, look at some of the best logos, the most iconic logos of our time. Like, we're talking FedEx, right?
And that's the tough thing I find. It's hard to kind of, like, Google changes its logo a lot.
Google does. And I think this is going to make for a great podcast in the future. So they update this. So interestingly enough, what they do is they update their logo.
Right.
They don't change it.
Yes.
They don't follow trends. All they've done is changed the font every few years, but they don't change it to the point where it upsets people because people they've made a connection to the 6 letters. They've got loyalty to it. Yeah. And they don't change their colors.
No.
Right?
No, the colors are all
colors are the same. Yeah. They don't all of a sudden make it all uppercase.
Yes.
Or make it all lowercase.
That's
it's
true.
stayed the same.
Right.
All they've done is updated the actual font over the past few years. And, doing that slight little update keeps them current.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say that makes them trendy.
Yes.
Right? They're not following trends. They're leaving everything else the same. They're just trying to stay current.
Yeah.
Which is risky, but they're doing a good job at it.
Yes. They've got a wonderful color palette to work with. But they did start with a serif font, I believe.
Oh,
right. You remember
bastards.
that?
Yes, they did.
I've read that those classic serif fonts are coming back. This is the trend.
This
is the trend for 2021. Yeah.
Whoa, classic serif font coming back. There's a trend, everybody. Yeah. Change your logos to serif.
So maybe Google will go back to that.
We'll see Google. Google Garamond.
Yeah, Google Garamond. It's funny though that that a classic font is a trend.
Yeah, I know, right?
Do you know what I mean? Like that seems wrong almost.
Doesn't it though? Because again, classic kind of goes back with the timeless thing, right? Like how can somebody say something that's so classic is now trendy again?
Doesn't make any
saying
sense.
what's old is new again, but that's not a trend.
Yeah, that's not. No.
Right?
No, it's
and
not
that's,
a trend.
If anything, you can say that that's good design because again, you've got to make it appropriate to your audience.
Yeah. Well,
right?
that goes back to your timeless observation.
And some of the best, most well-known brands and logos in the world are ones that haven't changed.
Yeah.
Not for 10 years, not for 20 years.
Yes.
Shit, Coca-Cola's been around for 100, right?
Exactly.
Like, come on.
Yeah. Totally.
So this is why we have a rant with design trends and making yourself feel guilty if you're not jumping on them and second guessing yourself, right? Think about the ramifications here.
Yeah.
So number one, trends often go against what your brand stands for.
Yes.
Right? Like, companies, they generally have specific guidelines for what their brands are supposed to do.
Yeah.
By all of a sudden having these, design trends, you're going against what you've built, worked so hard for, like to create this consistent brand identity, right?
Yes.
Problems with brands following design trends. It undermines a brand's credibility.
Yeah.
Right? Like, again, people have worked so hard to create this identity, right?
Yeah.
Like, they put research, into the branding, the colors, the images, the visual identity. If you apply this month's trendy colors to something like that, or the fonts because they're popular, it totally undermines the credibility that people have gone to, like all the research and development to get to that point.
Yes.
Right?
The work that company has done to get to there.
Seriously.
And you're just going to throw it all
right.
away.
It's not just a matter of, hey, this is hot this month, let's just do it. No, it's been a hell of a, I've seen some pretty big brand guidelines. And it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
To all of a sudden throw that out the one because, hey, this year, 2021's, trendy font of the year is this. And,
Yes.
Yeah. Well, what if they said that the trendy font was papyrus? What are you going to do then, Google? Put Google as in papyrus?
No, you know what? I don't think that will ever make any trend list of all.
Trends, you know what? Trends can also limit your design if you think about it. Because again, if the only tool that you have in your box is a hammer, then every problem looks like a nail.
Ooh,
right?
Nice.
So again, design is about solving problems, providing the right solution for the right problem.
Yeah.
And trends, honestly, will make you design with blinders. If you sit there and try to cram in a trend into your, design style, you're trying to cram something that doesn't necessarily work, and then you're trying to push that off to your customer.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yes.
It's insane.
Yes.
Drives me nuts.
Yeah,
and honestly,
sad.
and the other thing, trends move too flippin' fast.
Yes. Yes.
Seriously,
Yep.
let's take into consideration a good logo project can take anywhere from 4 weeks to 6 months to even longer, depending on how large the branding project is.
Right.
A website, takes
Yes.
anywhere from 3 months to God knows, for some companies it's endless.
Yes.
Okay, if you're constantly jumping on every trend every year to try to keep yourself current, again, you're just chasing a bus. And honestly, and you know what happens when you chase a bus? You're always left behind.
Exactly.
Like, seriously.
My heart, because you're not going to make that bus, fella.
Right? Like, it's true that they happen so fast that it's like just when Google announces the materials themes, all of a sudden a year later it's like, we're out of materials. Now we're going to go back to skeuomorphism, which was from 8 years ago. We're bringing that back, everybody. Like, geez, it moves too fast. And honestly, you're basically going to be spending so much time, so much energy trying to chase something that really is only going to hurt your brand.
Yeah, sometimes by the time that you're going to roll all this stuff out, this trend is going to be gone. There's going to be on to the next thing, and then what do you do?
Absolutely.
Somebody looks at that and goes, I don't know whether those pastel colors are kind of what I was thinking.
Pastels or the fluorescence or the muted.
Yeah, the muted. Yes, the muted color palettes. Yeah, that's a pretty hip one.
It drives me nuts for this end.
Yes.
So so the problems brands following trends are that the trends often go against brands. They undermine the brand's credibility. They can limit the design, and they move too flippin' fast.
Yeah, that's
honestly
the thing. It doesn't really stick around.
No, absolutely not.
Although I did read, and these things kind of made me happy when it comes to trends, right? Trends sometimes have a purpose.
Right.
Text-heavy videos are now a big trend because of the pandemic. There's not a lot of people that you can't do a video like you used to do with the pandemic, right? So the reaction to that was a text-heavy video,
right?
Which to me, that's like life gives you lemons, you're going to make lemonade. Right? So that seems like a kind of an interesting take on.
Yeah.
Like it's not the best. It's not the ideal solution, and I'm pretty sure
but I mean,
that regular video is going to come back
absolutely right
as soon as we get out of this lockdown.
But is it that it's a trend, or is it that people have solved a a problem through design.
There you go.
Right?
They
realize
that's exactly
that.
it.
So again, this is why, like you said, that with the pandemic the past year, and nobody's going out to do as much shooting anymore, and so we're limited to our resources.
Yes.
So there's the problem.
Right.
The solution is, we're not going to just abandon videos.
Yeah.
We're just going to figure out a different way to do it and solve that problem. So, I mean, it's kind of more of a solution to the problem.
You're right.
I don't consider that a trend.
That's not a trend.
Yeah.
They say it's a trend, but it's a trend because of this is what we've got.
Right.
This is what we have to work with. Yeah.
So it's almost like
so that's unfair. That should go off the list.
that should go off. If you're considering that a trend.
So there you go,
shame
people.
on
You're
you.
making your trendy lists. Take that off.
Take
because
that off the list, damn it.
That's a solution rather than a trend.
It's so true. It's so true.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Was there any other ones that you
totally
disagree?
makes
Because I mean, I've seen so many damn recommendations for trends. They drive me nuts. I think a lot of these, so-called trends per se aren't necessarily for the benefit of the brand.
Right.
Right. I think they're for the benefit of the designers. So they're not feeling stuck.
Yeah.
Right? Because let's face it, right? Like we're an agency, right? So agency life's a little different. We have different clients on a regular basis.
Yeah.
We're constantly evolving, changing, exposed to new ideas, new opportunities. If you're working in a company, right, you're probably going to get bored pretty quickly because it's things move a lot slower when you're actually in it because you're inundated with the same brand, the same messaging day in, day out. So I think a lot of these things are like the trends, I think, exist for the designers themselves, right? Not for the customers.
Yeah.
Shame on anybody saying follow this for your brand, but I think they're for the designers to keep themselves feeling fresh.
Yes.
Right? Because I mean that's why Dribbble looks interesting because things are always current and hip, and it's just like that's something new I haven't think. My issue with trends. My issue with this whole thing is when they start saying it's brand design trends. Or logo design trends, right?
Yeah, see, that's the kind of stuff. And it's almost hard to differentiate the you think is cool, but it might not work with your client.
Well, let's think about this. When is it okay to use a trend in your opinion?
Oh.
Right? When's it okay to follow a trend? Now, hands down, I'm saying absolutely not for a brand, logo.
Yes. Absolutely not.
Don't mess with that.
Yeah,
don't mess with that.
I'm thinking maybe like an ad campaign or something like that.
Ad campaign, okay.
Yeah. Social digital ads, things like that. Something that has an expiration date, like something that you're gonna You're not going to run with it till the end of time, kind of thing, right?
Right. I mean, because there's a lot of mediums right now that are just used now and gone. They have to grab your attention, but then they're forgotten very quickly.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. There is a giant, like the Me Too movement, a lot of people jumped on that.
Yeah.
No, let's just get rid of that. I don't even want to go there.
It's kind of, that to me it's almost, you're taking something that's really serious and you're piggybacking off that.
Yeah, right. Because it was pretty distasteful. I saw people jumping on the Black Lives Matter thing, and that's a pretty heavy topic. And then to just try to cater your brand to it, that's kind of distasteful. I think
Nike with all the football players and all that kind of stuff with their with the stuff that they wear before the games and stuff like that. Yes. Making the shoes and that kind of. There's some really cool design inside of that, but Yeah, so that's a sticky.
It's sticky, right?
Yeah, that's a tough one to work with.
So it's okay to use a trend if something has an expiry date, if it's trend. So like ad campaigns or social media or digital ads or things that are just quick little fixes.
Yes.
Even like something a little bit more guerrilla, like like a something local campaign. All right. Yes. So let's look at some design. Some proposed 2021 design trends, and let's figure this out, and let's rate it on is it going to be,
or just things that you think
should it be a trend or like an expiry date used for an expiry date or something that has longevity?
Yes, yeah, right, exactly.
Oh, so anyway, keep it or blow it. What do you want to call this? Let's have fun with this.
Keep it or blow it.
Can't do that. Okay.
That's funny. I actually like that. Keep it or blow it.
All right, go.
Yeah, that's good. All right. So some of the trends that I found that are kind of disgusting, I think. But anyway, muted color palettes.
Right. Great.
Safe.
So muted color, but that's what you want 2021's colors to be, is mute. Like we didn't. 2020 was a mute, solemn year.
Yes.
Let's make 2021's colors the same.
Yes,
No,
exactly. Let's just bland it up.
blow that shit up.
Blow
All right,
that shit out.
blow.
Yes, exactly. Simple data visualizations. Simple data visualizations.
So you know what? Like, I mean, I saw that one. I saw somebody saying that that's a trend, but that's not a trend. That's a good problem solving.
I think that's really good. But I think maybe what the trend is to simplify it even more, so that you're kind of you're taking the messaging completely out of it. Because I've seen some things. You look at the image and you're like, well, what are you trying to say here?
Yeah.
Like, it's just a really cool looking visual, but you still have to get your point across.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely right. I think if that's done right, that's a keep it, not blow it.
Yes, yeah, that's definitely a keeper. Yeah. Geometric shapes.
Oh,
I know, right?
Like,
rigid, hard-edged geometric shapes.
Come on, right? Like, that's something. Blow
that shit up.
Blow that shit up. I mean, again, in all fairness, fine. You want to use it for some social media stuff because the 80s are back and you want to get some 80s flair. Geometric
yes,
shapes.
That's what it is.
But again, we're not living the 80s for the past 50 years.
Right. That's
totally.
Oh, that blew my mind.
Right.
Man. Holy shit. Flat icons and illustrations. Say goodbye to your isometric drawings and stuff like that, because that trend
right?
Flat is in. Yeah.
So in my
this one I
opinion,
wasn't sure. Yeah. What do you think?
Well, I mean, we've been doing flat icons forever.
Exactly.
So what does that mean? We've been ahead of the. we are so progressive that, like, I mean, come on. Like, really, when you're creating icons, the whole point of iconography is to keep it simple and understandable,
exactly.
right? That almost follows more logo stuff. So there's nothing trendy about that.
Yeah, it's almost an extension of a logo,
right? So keep it. That should be something that should just always be in the table.
Yeah.
Don't blow that. Don't make it trendy.
Don't
just
blow
keep
that one. Yeah. Classic serif fonts. Again, elegant, trustworthy, and they evoke nostalgia. These things. So
I think the key word there. Classic. Right? How is that trendy?
I don't understand. Right? Classic and trendy should be two.
So again, fonts have a purpose.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. And you really have to look to its purpose, the audience.
Yeah.
Right? Like, the font needs to match the brand. So I do find it kind of ridiculous when they're saying, the trend is now serifed fonts.
That's even sad to consider that as a 2021 trend.
Yeah, that's a key.
These fonts are there. They've been around for years for a reason.
So shame on you for considering that trendy right now.
You lump that into a trend, you should be pissed off.
If you don't know what a serif font is and you've never used it in your design, then you're a shitty designer, okay?
I'm going to
go back to school.
I'm going to use this Garamond because it looks really cool.
It's really
what
are those little things that are at the bottom? It looks like little feet. Wow.
What's the story behind it anyway? You burnt. Get the hell out of here.
Yep.
Yes. And this one is kind of cool, I think, because I've noticed this a lot. It's a lot of designers are using this kind of thing. Social slide decks.
Like Instagram sliders, right?
Yes. These kind of, to tell your story.
To tell the story. And I think that's actually, you know what? I think that's actually brilliant, but I don't know if that's trend.
Is that a trend?
I think that's starting to understand what the hell the medium is again, right? Because what they are is they're not disjointed slides. It's kind of like telling a story.
Yes,
and
it
we're
is.
big believers here on always tell a story.
Yeah.
So it's like, here's the story, and it doesn't work if it doesn't all connect.
Yes.
So I think calling that a trend is ridiculous.
Yes.
I don't think that saying, maybe people have caught on to it, and now they realize this is how it should be.
Yeah.
But I don't think I would ever look at, like I won't look at this the same way. I wouldn't look at these the same way. If I see this like 4 or 5 slides and they interconnect to one another, that's good, and that's what it should be.
It goes back to to what we talked about before. This is your solution-based kind of
absolutely.
Right?
This is the best way to use this.
You want to keep people engaged. But you only have one square image of Instagram or something like that to use. It's hard to do that, right?
Yeah, it is. You're right.
So make it this kind of a storytelling kind of slide through, which I think is is pretty awesome.
I think it's good. So good on you guys.
That definitely, that's
again,
that's a keeper.
That's not a trend. That's a keeper.
Yeah, that again, you're right. That's not a trend per se. That's a solution, I think. That totally, somebody saw something and said, okay, we're limited here. What are we going to do to fix this?
Absolutely.
Brilliant.
Right.
Yeah, so good on you. That's a keeper for sure. Yeah,
Yep.
you're absolutely right. Asymmetric designs. Come on,
Asymmetrical.
get out of here.
I think I learned about this in design school 20 years ago. Like, how is this? Guys, come on. We're dealing
Cue
with
record
symmetry
scratching.
or symmetrical designs, asymmetrical designs, and they
Yes.
both serve a
Come
purpose.
on.
This is ridiculous. How do you even say this is a trend? Again, they serve a very different purpose. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, I think most of our presentations for the past 5-6 years have been asymmetrical.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because of the way we present, content. But that doesn't mean that it's trendy. We weren't ahead of our time.
No.
Or maybe we just were really fucking progressive and we just didn't realize it all this time. You know what that means, Sean?
What's that?
Our rates have just tripled.
Sorry, guys, but that's true. Yeah,
Hey,
you're gonna have to start paying for
We're
this.
ahead
shit.
of the trends. Yeah.
Yeah, and I keep seeing minimalism as a trend.
Oh my God. Sorry. So good design is now a trend. Is that what this is?
Have we lost our way so badly that minimalism is a trend? Oh,
my God.
Geez,
Oh my God.
It was a forehead slap on that one. Yeah.
Jeez.
But I did see one that I thought was kind of cool. Is like the motion logo. It's you've seen the Google,
see,
with
like the little
four
Google G
dots,
that
and
just
then
like
it turns into the
it adds a little bit of life to
Yes.
something. Now I don't know if that's going to hurt a brand by any way.
I don't think it would.
Right?
per
It
se.
wouldn't. It's a nice presentation. It's a new way to present something,
If you
right?
do it
To add a
right.
little bit of personality
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah.
I think the one that you're speaking of that I've seen was like the Google 4 colors. They start as dots
The
and they
4
turn
little
into the
dots.
G, right? They
Yes.
animate themselves into the letter G.
Yes. Yeah.
But again, I don't know if I would consider that a trend per se. I think this wasn't something that was possible 10 years ago, 5 years ago, based on bandwidth, based on, the technology,
Yeah,
right?
you're right.
It took a lot to animate a logo.
It's funny because there was a tutorial online of how to do that Google G.
Oh,
and the
cool.
4 dots.
Very cool.
And I think it was like 11, 12 minutes. So
Jeez, see?
somebody using the Adobe products is taking
yeah.
this and showing you how you can
So
kinda
see,
do this.
it's like, So,
So-
again, it's a new solution.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's a trend. I think
don't
that's
think this is
just
a trend, yeah.
something new
Yeah.
that technology has enabled, and it does allow a little bit of extra personality to something.
Yes, exactly.
Hard
In
to
a
believe it's a
visual
trend.
world, this is kind
right.
of what you need now. You need
Yeah.
something like that to kind of knock it out of the park. Yeah, that was my that's what the trends that I could find. I don't know did you find anything?
Jeez, dude, you know what?
Anything-
I saw some. They made me angry.
Yeah, it does.
And
It almost
honestly,
enrages you a little bit.
I think it made me angry because it messes with the brand.
Yes.
And again, it's like, again, I can't say it enough. Things that you should do to make your logo trendy. Nothing. Okay, nothing. What brand trends should you avoid? All of them.
Yeah.
Like seriously,
Brand
all of them.
trends. I can't
Brand
believe those
trends.
headlines, man.
I know.
That's almost that's disturbing.
The sad part is that was from a website that I used to respect and have a lot of, and then I saw that. I think that's just proof that people are creating content for the sake of content.
That's a trend we want to see.
That's a trend we want to see go.
Yes.
That's a trend we want to see go.
Pandering to the lowest common denominator. Come on, don't
it's
do
amazing.
that,
So true.
please.
Jeez. Well, I think that pretty much wraps up everything that I
Yes.
needed to bitch about this week, Sean.
That was really.
I think that was
really,
pretty
really
good.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's very topical. We didn't really talk about the Pantone colors, the trendy Pantone colors. So maybe we'll just leave that alone.
Oh, jeez. You know what, you guys? Go look for that one on your own, and you can be the judge.
Yeah, go suck a lemon if you don't
Yeah.
like it.
So, guys, if you like what you heard today, if you had a good laugh, if we made you angry, if you agreed, please, by all means, subscribe and put us in your favorite podcast app so you don't miss our next rant when we find something new, which is hopefully about a week's time
Yep.
that we're going to be bitching about.
Oh, yeah.
And, of course, don't forget, share the love and pass this on to one of your other friends. I'm Massimo.
And I'm Sean.
Thank you very much, and we are out of here.
Oh, yes.